Good morning and welcome to the Flory Models, stroke PM Models, stroke Flory EU, stroke everybody else. Saturday morning show. Hope you're all doing very well for the ones who aren't at RIAT, if you're in the UK. So, yeah, I bet there'll be half the viewings today because everyone's probably at RIAT about to get wet, I reckon. If it's anything like down in here. So,
what time's it forecast rain at RIAT then?
I don't know. I think they'll probably get it this afternoon looking at what I saw this morning on the weather radar. So obviously it's coming through here now and it's heading towards them. So John will get it next.
So nothing flying then this afternoon.
Yeah, that's
Everyone will get soaked this afternoon and then burnt to a crisp tomorrow.
Yeah, that's normally how it works. I must admit, I've been there though on one year and it was cloudy and probably had the worst sunburn ever. Because you do that thing, oh, it's not sunny. So I'm walking around in a T-shirt and got absolutely... thingy. I looked like, what's it called, the sweets, drumsticks, you know? It was like red and then white. It was proper bad. Back of my neck caught it, my ears. Yeah, didn't think. Silly. Windburn as well, because that's the trouble with airfields, they're flat, no shade.
Yeah, flat and open, aren't they?
Yeah. Never mind. Anyway, if you have gone and you're watching this on repeat, I hope you had a good time. I must admit, I watched quite a bit of it live yesterday. Looked very good. And Nathan will be there tomorrow, so if you see him, give him a kick. So, yeah. Very, very good. Anyway, trust you're all doing very well. A bit of a start for the weekend. Just a nice, relaxed, informal show. We'll answer some of your questions, chat. Matt's going to have Luna, who's had a haircut especially for the show.
Yeah, it looks like she's settled herself, doesn't it?
I know, that's it. I've got to sleep now.
Yeah, you're not stopping here, dog. You can go in your bed or something.
Very nice. Yeah. And John, he's nice and warm in there. Look, he's got his door open, letting some air in.
Oh, yeah, I've got the door open. I forgot that.
Well, you leave it open. It's not a problem.
If it starts getting noisy with the boy racers, I'll shut it.
Nah, it's too early for them. They won't be up for another hour.
No.
Be fine. Yes, and we're not sponsored by CrowdStrike. Not like Mercedes-Benz, with the Formula One. Anyone see their pit wall? On the pit wall, all blue screen of death. I thought it was so funny watching practice yesterday. So, yes, very good. Anyway, we're not affected. We're still going. And obviously, I assume then that YouTube must run on Linux or Apple. Because didn't affect anything. In fact, I thought when I first saw it in the morning, because obviously Friday's a big day for me, because obviously a lot of stuff goes up and becomes live and various things from the shows. And I thought, if it goes down, we're stuffed. So, but no, it was all okay. We were fine. Good job. So, yes, very, very good. So, yes, if you've got any questions, any bits and pieces you want to talk about, any topics and that, feel free to shout up. Obviously, good morning to everybody from the Flory family. I've got your chat up here as well. Look, Kareen's in there as well. Just noticed as well. Lots of you down in there as well. Nigel's in there. Very, very nice. John's in there. Very good. And obviously, hello to everybody in YouTube chat as well. We are live on there. So, if you've got any questions, post them up and we'll try and answer them the best we can. So, yes. Good job. So, anything you want to talk about? Anything we need to do? Shall we take them to the store just to show them before the big move commences? Quick bum around the store. Very, very good. The PM store is going to be closed from what dates is it?
Probably next weekend.
So it's going to be, what, the 22nd?
We'll do this week. So Friday, we'll probably shut it down on Friday. But to be fair, if you put your orders in on Friday, you're definitely not going to get them for a week or so until we moved. Right. So
technically, we are going to be closed officially then from really the 27th through to obviously the following week, which is going to be obviously the beginning of August.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's the thing down in there. So technically, from that point of view, so and then obviously you're down in here for that weekend afterwards. So probably reopening around about Tuesday the 30th, 29th, 30th.
Probably.
Hopefully be back to normal for that type of thing.
Yeah.
So because obviously you've got the big move that's going on, which obviously coincides to some of this as well. So because we need to sort of move some stock, so we haven't got to move it. We've got big discount on obviously all the Hobby Boss stuff at the moment. Got some nice stuff in here as well. So again, we've got the nice Revell Spitfire, which obviously comes with the mask set and the resin and all the extra goodies as well down in there. We've got obviously some of this stuff, which, to be honest with you, generally a lot of it's Hasegawa kits. So it's very, very nice indeed. So again, you can grab any of these just down in here. I'm surprised that F111's there. It is right what they're going for on eBay.
Well, one sold, we've got one left, to be honest, but they have been quite a good seller, because that's Hasegawa kit is really, really hard to get hold of.
Yeah,
and again, there's some others in there. And you've got to think with Hobby 2000, they only do a run and then they've gone. Sometimes they bring them back and sometimes they don't. I mean, the Henschel, the 129 there is Hasegawa kit. Again, I don't know if we'll see that again. I think the Hurricanes are. A lot of them, like I say, Hasegawa, Fujimi, some of them, and Dragon, I think. Academies is obviously the B29, which again, you get a mass set. I don't know what you get with that, to be honest. Yeah, do your scale mates and just have a look what's in the box, because you do get bits and bobs with them.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they're. But once they've gone from us. This lot of Hobby 2000, and then obviously we'll move on to the next lot. So, again, just keep an eye out over the course of this week, because there'll probably be a few more brands being discounted, just so we don't have to move them if we don't have to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so, definitely.
Yes. And also in the special offers bit, there's a few bits in there from previous, obviously. We've still got some, but we are clearing out, and we will not be stocking the wash sets from AK. So once they've gone, they've gone. Again, we're going to move on, aren't we, to other things.
Yes. Other things, new lines and things. So yeah, definitely. So if you want to grab any of these ones, and obviously these ones down here, I said before, my ex-review samples. So if you want to grab any of those, they are reboxed and packed up as well and everything. So as well, you can grab those if you want to do that as well. Plus the fact we've still got obviously discounts on the old real colours for the glassy ones, bottles, the Abtai Lung pigments, because obviously they're being discontinued. And then obviously we've got some other bits and pieces down in here as well. So if you want to grab any of those, you can do just like that.
Just put this out there as well. I would keep an eye out, probably hopefully from Monday onwards. The Abtai Lung oil paints. We're going to be selling them off as well, what we've got left, because that is being discontinued again as a range. So we'll be ending up with a brand new paint rack again, full of the new ones. So we're just, because
they're rebranding, so we're not sure what colours are coming back. There is a little bit of a worry that what they're going to do is very much similar to what they've done with their other ones. When they tend to rebrand, they tend to discontinue some colours. So and usually why they do the good colours, I have no idea. They get rid of them, but
well, I mean, there's definitely some of the oil paints going, because they did put a list up, didn't they? So they're definitely dropping some of the lesser sellers, I presume, for them, and then doing a rebrand exercise and whatever. So again, we'll have a paint rack. But we do probably
think they've shot themselves in the foot with those, though, because if we saw those images of what the new ones are going to look like, they just don't like cheap bookshop or style ones.
I don't understand it. Yeah, I totally agree, John. They're not very exciting. I know it's a product and you're going to use it, so it doesn't really care. But if you're first time, you want to have something nice. But yeah, it's like they've downgraded it all. Don't know. Weird.
I don't want to put this thingy, but it sounds like they're going cheap.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It sounds like the expensive packaging is going to be out the window, hence the jars have gone, and probably the fancy packaging for the 502s, and I just think the actual 502 brand, they're dropping anyway, aren't they? A bit like the pigments are going, so I presume that brand is just being sort of mothballs and gone, so they can just bring it all into AK, which kind of makes sense, because it is AK. You've got different things, offshoots of it, but just keep an eye out. Like I say, I'm sure Phil will let you know when they're up in for sale. So but the big move is coming. It's the big move.
So obviously, if you have been under a stone, we have been talking about it for the last couple of weeks. I was up there last weekend. John's going up next weekend as well. So we got the big move. We're coming out of the unit and we're going into a new place. So that's hence the reason why we're sort of trying to run down stock, so we ain't got to move much at the end of the day. So that's the plan with it. So obviously, bear with us during the move. It's huge, as you say. If you imagine just moving your workroom how much hassle that would be. Well, imagine that on steroids. So, because, yeah, to be honest, we've been in that unit for 6 years, haven't we?
Yeah.
The amount of stuff that's in there, it's like, wow, how you accumulate it all is quite something.
I mean, well, it's all been built up, hasn't it, over the, over the course of time we've been in there. We've built it up and obviously added rangers and, stock and stuff. But yeah, it's we're quite on top of it. I think we had a really good weekend when you came up, didn't you? And we got rid of all the wood, racking and whatever we could and chopped that down. And then, like I say, I've been emptying the back office and then just trying to get stuff boxed up that, obviously still trying to run the business as well as in when we have sales. So it's a bit of a balancing act at the minute. It'd just be nice when we get to next Friday, once the poster's gone at around 2:00 next Friday, then, or Friday coming, should I say, then we'll be closed down. And then can properly get in and start packing up for the move. So I say John's coming up on the Sunday, and then pretty much Monday, Tuesday we'll have the Luton back van, and we'll get it all in there. Paint racks are going to be fun, aren't they? That's going to be the fun bit, the paint racks, especially the SMS one. Thankfully, there's not a lot on it. Hence why there's not a lot of stock, because I've run it down because it's a massive paint rack. And obviously they're the glass jars, so it's going to be easy.
If you imagine a double wardrobe, that's the size of the SMS paint rack. I've never seen a paint rack that big. And it's like, massive, wow, it's huge, unbelievable. I first saw it, I was like, why? That's just ridiculously big. It's huge. It's like a double wardrobe. Yeah. So I can imagine you're going to be driving around the corner with our nice little Luton van, and you're going to hear it go, and it'd be one of those, I don't want to open the door. We've all been there, because you know what you're going to find when you undo the door. It's going to be, do you know what? I'm not going to open. I don't want to see it.
Like a painter and decorator's van, won't it?
Yeah,
no, I'm taking all the paints off, to be honest. He ain't been travelling with the paint inside it. The only one we might do is like what we've done before with the Attacker and wrap it in cling film.
Cling film it together,
The thingy one should be too bad it's on wheels, which we've converted the old AK paint rack, the real colour paint rack, and now is a Tamiya paint rack, because you can get the XFs and Xs and the LPs on one rack. So we had two separate ones before, so that's actually worked out all right in one way. But yeah, it's 2 Attacker paint racks. Obviously, the thing is quite a big paint rack as well, isn't it? The Mr. Hobby one. That's not a small rack. No. And then there's a few little, Vallejo paint racks as well to go and stuff. So that'd be all right. It'd be it's all right packing up. It's sorting it all out the other end, isn't it? It's unpacking and getting it all back.
The unpacking.
That's the time consuming. I think the packing and moving it's not going to be a problem. It's the other end when you've got to sort of, not looking forward to that bit, but get it done, get it back up and running. It'll be all right. So all good. It'll
be fun. It'll
just
be
hope
fun.
we don't have a heat wave of about 30 degrees, because that's going to be
Yeah, it was warm enough doing it last weekend, to be honest, when the sun came out. Proper warm in there. So, yes.
But yeah, good.
All good. A couple other bits as well. Obviously, I have got the snips. If anybody fancies the snips, just £37, including VAT. All right, so good price on that. I did have a look. They're 40 odd quid on Amazon, if you can get them. As well. So we got those up as well. So if you want to pop along to the store, you can get those. And also the trays are back in stock as well. Sold load last night. So these are the metal trays. And obviously you can use them, put your tools in, putting your parts in and everything else. Yours won't have scratches. It's just, to be honest, it's me using my one. But if you pop over to the store, just literally pop in, click on store. And obviously you've got all your washes, all your thick and thins, all your pigments. We've got the merch as well. So we've got the mouse mats, we've got the mugs. And just to point out, we've only got 25 mugs left. That is genuinely it. We've only got 25. So once that's gone, it's gone. And obviously when we get to November, if we have got any left, they'll get smashed, because they're a limited edition for obviously next year's mug, which is a special limited edition because it's celebrating a certain anniversary. So we got a new mug coming for next year, as well as some other merchy bits and pieces to celebrate a certain sort of birthday for that particular one. So again, if you want to grab any of these as well, you can do as well. And as for the 3D printed stuff, to be honest, straight after the show, I will get the 3D printer running and get some more of these printed off over the weekend. So those will be back in stock probably tomorrow when they start coming off the production line, and we've got them. Plus, I've got all your merch and other bits and pieces. All right. So if you do want to grab anything, you can do just like that. So,
I was thinking the other day, actually, I might get one of those trays, because I reckon they make really good decal trays.
Yeah, you could use them as a decal tray.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, you could stick them on your cup heater and they'd never.
Yeah, keep you warm. Yeah,
keep
you
warm,
nice and warm. And it won't peel off because this isn't a sticker. This is actually fully painted onto this. So it is painted on. So
aren't
it's
they
a proper enamel?
That's why they take 8 weeks to.
No, they're not hand painted, but they are obviously somehow they do it when they print onto it. I don't know if they actually print them first and then bend them into shape, or if they're like that, then they do. I don't know how they do it, to be honest. All I know is originally they gave me a 6-week lead, and then they turned around and said we weren't allowed for a drying time, so now they're 8-week lead before we can get these. So they take a lot longer to come in now. But yeah, but anyway, very nice, very good. So if you want to grab one of them, when you want to get the snips, this is the nice ones as well. This isn't the old style. This comes with the actual hard case for them. I know obviously the ones up on Amazon are the old ones, and they've got the, you don't get the case. This one's got the hard case in with it as well. So it's the deluxe version of that one. So again, that's it. That's enough of the hard sales for the day. I promise I won't do any more.
Hey, I'll tell you what I did find when I was clearing out the back office. And actually upstairs as well, I didn't realise. Airbrush boxes.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
From your airbrush collection?
Yeah. Yeah, oh, yeah. It's quite embarrassing, to be perfectly honest, how many there was. It's like, ooh,
yes,
that's a bit much. So yes, I'm going to be sorting through them and actually putting stuff back in the boxes. I think I might be selling some off because I don't think
some
I need
airbrushes.
So yeah, I think some will be going.
Yes,
but yeah,
never mind. You'll be fine. Get it all packed up. Be nice to be in the new place all the way through. Right, got a first question from Andrew. He says, what colour should he use for using the wash with a black model? So again, it's one of those ones. There's a little bit of personal preference on this, but for blacks and dark blues and things like that, what I tend to do, hold on, if I can just bring it up here. If you pop over to the wash page, there's various videos up these days about using it on various things, but down at the bottom, we got some sort of color charts and all the rest of it. So down in here, what I tend to do is I make up the gray wash, but you could use the light wash if you got the light, and then I add in a little bit of dark dirt to it, purely so then when it comes up, you get this type of effect, which I know a lot of people think that's overkill, but by the time you've weathered it in, like we've done here, you can see it sort of all blends in. And then as we move further on with it and get it all together, you can see you can knock it in. But again, if you wanted it to be a little bit more subtle, you just add a little bit more dark dirt to it and go through it. I wouldn't add sort of black to it, but if you add dark dirt, it just knocks it all back. You know, it's one of those, it's a neutralizing color all the way through. But again, if you go up to like video builds, up in here, go to video builds. Don't forget, if you pop on the website, there's tons of stuff in here, and you look at the Lancaster, which is here somewhere. Where's the Lancaster? I need to change that thumbnail really, but down in here I think you'll find we've got various things. There we go. So as you can see, this has got onto it, which is a mix of grey, dark dirt, so it's more subtle. It doesn't stand out as much, so you can just come through and you can see, you can just get the panel lines showing through with a little bit of other weathering. So obviously we come in with oils and go to death with it on oils all the way over this one. There we go, underneath. You can sort of see how it sort of blends it all in and knocks it all back quite nicely, but you can still see them all in there just like that. So that's literally what I do with the blacks and things. I don't know if we've got a picture underneath of it, but there we go. You can see, there it is, just down in there like that. So you got enough for the riveting to show, you got enough for the panel lines to sort of show and stuff like that, and you can just come through it all like that. And that way you get a nice bit of sort of shape and shadowing as well, all at the same time. So yes, mix your colors. Don't forget, you mix your colors. Don't worry about washing off the wash. Just put it straight over the top and go again. It will layer on top of itself.
It will, because I was doing that on my Spitfire. I like to use on black because I was doing it on the Black Widow, which I've actually just got rid of. I've just moved it. Dust and grime are my go-tos. So if you actually look at, obviously, anything that's painted black and how it weathers, it does go lighter. Definitely, you know, dust and stuff, and it just shows up. So yeah, I like grime. Grime's good for a panel wash for black, funnily enough. So
again, it's one of those things that it depends on how strong you want to make it look. If you're looking for a nice bold sort of in your face, then you can go with with your greys and your things like that. It's fine. But if you want to sort of subtle it down a little bit, as you say, grime's a good one because grime looks like a medium earth, if you like, or a lighter shade of earth. So that shows really well with black to give it that type of look. But also it's that environmental thing. So if I'm doing it over blue, because a lot of the weathering onto it is bleaching, rubbing, and obviously salt, you tend to get a lighter panel line wash with it. So if you're doing like Pacific aircraft that have been on carriers for a long time, that's how they tended to go. Whereas obviously if it's land-based, like a Black Widow, it'd probably be more the earthy tones. And things like that.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. It's all environment, isn't it? That's again, look at reference photos and you'll soon pick up how they weathered and where they weathered and everything. So, yeah.
Yes, very, very nice. Good job. So, yes. So, anyway, John, how is your buffalo going along?
Yeah, I'm just messing around.
Is it proving to be a little bit more than obviously a normal Tamiya kit because it's an older one, or is the fit still good?
It's okay.
There we go. Yeah,
I'm sure if you compared it to other manufacturers' kits of this age, it would still be like Tamiya kits today compared to other kits today, if you know what I mean. It's a few sink marks on it and a few issues. I'm just still rescribing at the moment, taking me time doing that. So like I say, most of the fuselage is all raised panel lines. You can see big sink marks around here where the molded cockpit detail is on the inside. So I've just slapped some Mr. Surfacer in that. You can sort of see possibly on that side round there where I've sanded it. But yeah, it's not a bad little kit.
Very nice.
I don't know what it is. I've always liked the little buffalo. I don't know why.
Do you know what? I've never built one. You think, because obviously when we do group builds and that, we see a lot of them. A lot of people build them and that. And obviously it's one of those sort of kits I remember being a younger modeler as well, seeing in the shops, that particular kit. I think it's a wacky looking thing. Always reminds me of that IL, whatever it is, the BG racer type thing. But again, it's one of those ones where it's like somehow I've just never built it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was more sort of popular and used in the East, obviously, rather than over in Europe. And I think it's probably a better aircraft than its reputation actually is. But the wings, the wings are quite thick on the back. So I've tried to sand them down a bit. So yeah, I mean it's not like new Tamiya, but I can imagine it was a state of the art kit when it came out.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see how it goes. We'll be definitely following on for that particular one. So yes. Just to answer a question that has come up, invasion stripes. Do you paint on the white and do the camo afterwards? If you would have seen this one, we did it as the live build for the anniversary of the 80th anniversary of D-Day. We built these over the weekend. I actually made a complete pig's ear of this one because I did everything out of sequence. It's one of those, I was rushing, trying to get this done in 2 days flat. So consequently, everything went out the window. Also, I think it depends on how you're going to be weathering it. Now, with me, I haven't done too much weathering on this. It just literally had a wash on it and that's it. But again, if I was going to be rubbing through, what I would say normally is to do the entire camo work just like the real aircraft's got. All right. And then I would actually put the white down. So I would block off both sides fully and then just spray white all the way through, mask off down in here, which I think we worked out something like 8mm gaps. But you could do, literally to whatever size you've got tape for, because it doesn't really matter that much. All right. And then literally paint the black in, unmask it, and away you go. That way, what you can actually do is sand through it. And again, so when you sand very gently through it and chip at it and stuff, you get the original colors coming through. You get the greens coming through and the grays, and you can almost wear through it, which is something I did a lot on one of my previous builds. If I just show 1 second, for a long time ago, but we did the big project with the Mustang, the Typhoon. I think of the right one, which was a few years ago now, which was the old Airfix one. I can find it. If anyone sees it, shout. Where is it? There it is. So this particular one, which, yes, look, there's a very young me when I first moved into the studio, look. But yeah, so again, you've got this thing, you know, we sanded through these to sort of get it and scuffed it to get the sort of invasion stripes to sort of wear through and stuff like that. Because obviously when we went to town on this one. So again, because we were sanding and scuffing, I could have gone further, but I, you know, basically bottled it just to keep it sort of worn and things like that. You can go through. When I did this one, though, to be honest, it was just one of those ones where I completely got it wrong and I ended up doing this first. Then I had to put the camo in afterwards as well. And I think just for ease and speed of build, just paint it all in one, then do these and just pop these in. But again, it's easy. So tape each side, white, let that completely dry. Tape over the top, obviously the white areas, and then literally you can just spray the black on top and you're set and good to go. You know, so again, it's one of those quite straightforward ones when you get going. As for neatness and stuff like that, that's a completely different story because, again, as we know, a lot of these were done quite rough, but a lot of them also were done very precise. It depended on where it's being done. If it was done in the field, it could be done with a bucket and a brush, and that's lit. I've seen it done with brooms. I've seen it done with mops. I've seen people literally masking it in different old pictures and stuff when this actually happened. So again, it's just one of those ones. It's a little bit of personal choice how you want yours to look. From a scale point of view, I think you're fine to mask them off on 72nd and 48th. When you get into the bigger scales like 32nd and obviously 24th, then you might want to maybe just distress them a little bit down the edge. But again, another little tip is just to sand them very lightly right the way over. And that way you'll naturally distress the edges and things like that again. So, but again, it's one of those. It's a lot easier to do than I think, you know, you probably think. It's one of those, it looks complicated, but it's not. It's very, very straightforward. So just throw yourself into it, and I'm sure you'll be absolutely fine. Like Matt's going to do. You're going to put invasion stripes on that.
On this? What, on a Mark 5? No, it's not. No. I'm doing the Polish Squadron one, because they're the spray-on.
The duck.
I don't think it is actually, because I'm going to use them one-man army paint masks.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I'm going to spray everything on. So no, I don't think it is the duck, which is quite a famous squadron in it, or pilot. I can't remember. It's the one you get in the box for this, to be honest. I'm just testing how much work I've got done on the wing joints, to be honest.
Yes.
Little bit.
Just a little bit.
Mind you, bearing in mind this was first tooled in 1970, you know, you've got to obviously take into consideration that fact, haven't you? So, you know, nothing was CAD designed then, so it's not going to be a precise fit. So a little bit of work in fettling is going to be needed. Like, what did you say it was these that are a pain in the backside and don't fit?
Yeah.
I'll have to check them. I'll cut them off and have a look. And
so
also,
last time I did it, I made them out of plastic card.
And also, you get no wheel. Oh God, let me get them. Can we get no wheel wells? So I'm gonna have to get some thin plastic card and, you know, blank them off really.
Yes.
But I think it will look the part when it's done.
I don't think it's not as bad as I think it gets the reputation for.
No.
Because it does go together. It's just that I ended up doing the gun ports on there. I basically did them with plastic card and blanked them off because it was quick and easy to do it like that. So,
yeah, that's why I thought if they're really bad, that's what I'll do, is just make some templates and plastic card them and drop them in and do it like that. So I don't want anything open. Not that bothered, you know, like the engine cowls and stuff. I want them closed as well. Not bothered about having the engine cowls open. So this is just really going to be, the engine is built to support the structure, nothing else. And it's going to be the same again with any cannons and guns and whatever else has got to go in it. So it's going to be all buttoned up and shut up. It's going to be another sort of test of painting and weathering and like I say, actually going through the old process of spraying on all the markings and stuff, which I'm quite looking forward to actually. So see what these one-man army masks are like, because it's everything from roundels, numbers, serial numbers, and all the stencils as well. I know John's got one for his A20, ain't you, John?
I got the A20 and the Stuka,
The Stuka. And I think when you get to this scale, this bigger scale, that it looks a hell of a lot better than decals. And plus, I don't like decaling. I hate decaling. So if it gets better at that, happy days. Because I think you can fade them down and weather them in as well, according to how it would be
Yes, definitely.
In real life, rather than obviously trying to weather decals, which can be hit and miss at the best, can't it?
The good thing with the one-man army stuff as well is that he provides some spares as well, so you can practice before you actually, because I think especially with like the really fine stencil data, you've got to really sort of miss the paint on, not blast it on in one go.
I wonder if putting them on also, because I've got a friend of mine who actually works on aircraft for real, and he works on civilian airliners. And like he says, when they do it, the stencil data, because obviously on airliners, he says literally it comes on a sheet, they peel it off, stick it on, and then they use one of those sponges, which is like a brush sponge.
Oh, yeah.
And they just go round and all the rest of it and then peel it off. That's how they do it. And I'm wondering if, because obviously you can get sort of like the makeup sponges, the high density ones, and you could just literally dab it onto it as well, doing it the same way. Because obviously the problem you've got, if you flood it and it gets under it, you're in a world of pain then. You get any leakage. But also you don't have to worry about masking off a bigger area around it, because you can be precise and just sponge it onto it. But I know that's how they actually do it on their ones. It's literally just when it's had a respray and that, they just come along, stick them all on, and then just, with the sponge over it, let them dry a little bit and then peel it off, and away you go, and it's job done. So...
I'd have thought this day and age they'd have just used vinyl.
Do you know what? That's what I said to him. I thought they always used vinyl. I thought they were stickers.
Yeah.
But apparently he says they don't stay, because obviously with environmental and then flying along at like 500 mile an hour, they have a habit of peeling off. Yeah, so he said that's why now they've always just stuck to using the paint ones. Some of them, if it's temporary ones, then they'll just use a vinyl sticker. But I did say to him, I thought they were vinyls. I didn't realise you guys still painted them on. He said, oh, no, still painted on. So,
right. Well, that's a good idea for the sponge technique, especially for the, like say, all the stencil data and stuff. That might be I'll try that, I think. I'll keep that in mind, and I'll give that a go. I say, the thing with the... like John says, with stencils and stuff like that, is obviously not to flood it, is to just put fine coats on and build it up, so you don't get any leakage and anything like that. But yeah, it's coming along. Don't know where it's going to live when it's finished again, but hey ho. I tell you what, I was looking at yesterday. I was looking for a build of the new. If anybody's built the new Hobby Boss 132nd A26 Invader. It's been out a while, hasn't it? So you'd think by now there'd be some builds. Do you know what? It's nobody's ever really tackled it. Not on the internet that I've seen. I don't know if there's any on Facebook and stuff, but actually, like large scale planes and places like that where you think they'd do it. I know it's been absolutely slated as a kit because it's not brilliant. But again, I don't think it's like irreversibly bad. Does that make sense?
No. Yeah.
For some reason though, they've put 7 cylinders on the engine.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can get aftermarket, obviously, engines, or to be honest with you, I bet you could find a 3D print of an engine nowadays. For what did they have? Pratt and Whitney's, were they them ones?
I think they're 2800s.
I think there was or something. Anyway, whatever they're
2800s.
Sure, you can. I think Vector is a company that does them. Bearing in mind that engine was used on loads of things anyway. But I was just looking to see. Generally, I think it. Enough how it just builds as a general, but being Hobby Boss, to be honest, after building the Spitfire, they're normally pretty well engineered, even if they're not totally accurate. You know what I mean? But the other thing I've got an inkling to build is an early Mustang in 32nd. Yeah, but not an RAF one. It was originally the RAF one I fancy doing. The trumpeter RAF one.
Yeah.
But actually, I was looking. I don't know. I must have seen somebody else, but the early ones had some really, really cool schemes on them, actually, the US Air Force ones. I thought, that'd be a cool thing to tackle. It's a shame nobody does one in 24th scale of that, an earlier one, not just a D, a B, perhaps, or a C.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just looking what decal schemes and what you could do with them, and there's some quite good ones, actually, some quite nice ones, so might be one for the future, because it's not an expensive kit either, is it, the Trumpeter 32nd one? You ever built it?
No, I've done the Dragon one, 32nd one. which is a bit of a handful.
Yeah, well, that's a D, isn't it? I'm on about a B.
Yeah, that's a D. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm on about like what Edward's just put out.
I've never done a bit. The biggest one I've done is in 48th. You know.
Yeah.
So the Tamiya one, but no, I've never done a 32nd apart from a D. So.
What about the Trumpeter Razorback P47? You ever tackled one of them?
No.
Because you was having a state thing of doing Trumpeter
the big stuff.
Kits,
yeah, 32nd and 24th scale kits. God, I must admit, I'm sad I got rid of the old Kinetic, which was the Reeboks, whoever's it was, 24th scale. Thunderbolt, wouldn't it?
It's available. We can get one.
Yes, I know, because that would go with the family of them. So
yeah, I'll tell you what I had is the original manufacturer of the P47. I had their P40 in the desert scheme as well.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the manufacturer now. They were they didn't do many kits, did they? And I mean, this was years ago, and I sold it, and I kind of wish I hadn't. It's a bit clunky and not brilliant, but again, it's a 24th P40, so it looked quite cool. I'm surprised somebody's not done a 24th P40.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
would be nice, as I say, nice big chunky thing that would be.
Well,
that'd be
again,
a proper lump.
One for Airfix to tackle as a kitty or
it's got Airfix written all over it.
You what, sorry?
It's got Airfix written all over it, hasn't it? A 124th P40.
Well, again, we used it a lot, and it's not just in the desert. Obviously, we used it in the Far East, didn't we? In Burma and India and places like that. There's a lot of mileage in a P40, like we've discussed before on other kits. So, you know, if you get the 24th one would be ace, and it wouldn't be massive either, would it? It'd only be a Spitfire size, wouldn't it? So, yes.
Very nice.
Anyway, vintage kits, I think it was, weren't it? Who did the 24th? Was it vintage kits?
Yeah, it's the vintage kits, yeah.
Yeah, might have a look for another one. I bet they go for stupid money now.
That's the trouble. They will be going for it.
Yeah.
Right, a couple of questions. Will PM be stocking Plasticard?
Yes, when we've moved, actually, yes, I am going to order it. I know we've been saying it and putting off and saying it, putting off, but no, it's actually going to happen this time. When we've moved, we are going to have the Plasticard rack. Yes, definitely this time. We've had a lot of things to be sorted out this year, to be perfectly honest. It's been a weird year so far. Hopefully, after the move, we'll be back to a bit more normality, shall we say.
Yes, so, definitely.
Yes, 100% is going to be in.
Very good. Right, some of the questions have rolled out. I'll ask you questions again, guys, and we'll get to them because I've lost them there. The other one was, there was another question, literally, I've just missed it. Question gang, I posted Italian track on Instagram. I can't show it today because I haven't got it up, unfortunately. Can you tell me how you go about doing the window frames with chrome pen or brush, etc.? Yes, chrome pen, literally. I'll tell you, I've got a new one now. I haven't done a demo of it yet or anything because Kareen, who's in chat, is going to send me some other ones. But this is the super metallic markers, and these are the display ones. What I like about these ones is it's got a really nice nib on it. It's not a ball type one like is on the Molotov one, but I had a play with this one, chrome pen. If I still got it somewhere. Here it is. It's actually, if I get it to shine, reflecting the camera, it's very nice. And the nice thing about this nib is when you use it, I don't know how well this will work on here. Hold on. Where are we? If I do it on the black, it should work even better. If I put some glasses on, I can see what I'm doing. But hold on. Let me just start your pen off, getting going again. Got to wake him up. Since I used it on Tuesday. Hold on. Come through. It's always the way. Never do this live on air.
Dried out already?
Well, they do. It's got that springy nib on it that we have to.
Yeah. You have to pump it to get the.
There we go. You can see it coming through the end now. It's coming down. Yeah. Here it comes. Pump him in. Get him going. Here it comes. You can see it coming down. But yeah, it's actually really, really nice. But this brush, one of the problems I find with the Posca pens and things like that, and the Molotov ones, to be honest, the bigger ones, is that the fibers on the end of these, they flick. And when they flick, they literally go absolutely everywhere. And when you're using chrome, especially if you've got black near it, come on, down you come. It's coming. All right. That it literally leaves you with spots all over the place. Come on. Is it going to come down? Hold on, let me just do a bit of paper. With where it's so close yet so far. Come on. Here it comes. Dee, 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 dee. Here we go. So but you can literally just get a bit of a puddle of it going and try not to put air bubbles in it, and you can see it. But apparently they do a silver, and then they do a, this is chrome, silver, and they do a gold one.
Okay.
But yeah. So if this dries out, the reason I've got it as well, we want to see how long this thing actually physically lasts. But because obviously the trouble you find with the Molotov ones and things like that is that they tend to give up after a while and they go gritty. I think we're in now. And they go gritty. But with this one, obviously you can just put lines on, and you can just put a line of it just like this for your chromey bits. And you can literally just come in and put very, very small details and various things in there, but you can then flood it if you want to do bigger areas as well. But yes, here we go. It's starting to flood in now. It takes a while just to get down to the nib and wake it up, which is a good thing because that means it's not drying out permanently. But yeah, here we go. There we go. Now we're in business. But you can then flood it all on, and then you can see it's actually proper chromified.
Nice.
Very nice. So yes, like a little mirror. But yeah, this is those super metallic ones. Which again, there's plenty of options. It's funny how these things have sort of come around now, isn't it? Because before there was no real option for it. It was pretty bad. But Molotov obviously was the way we first started going. We've seen it with them. AK stuff, to be honest, is pretty good as well, but that's obviously a brush form and stuff. And now Dispay's doing them. Technically, these are probably like Gundam type markers and stuff like that, but it's got a good couple of balls in there as well to keep this mixed up and using as well. So Phil, will you be testing the AK real color pens? Yes, Matt, we got the order in with AK. As soon as they turn up, I've ordered the big box. So as I said, as soon as it turns up, I'll be getting rid of all my airbrushes and I'm going to be colouring in.
Colouring in, colour by numbers.
It's colouring in, it's the future. But no, definitely will. I'm quite excited about it. As you know, I've been using various things a little bit like it and various things over the years. So this is nice that it's got proper colours, because Winsor & Newton and people like that actually do earth colours and various things. If you look at them, they're like double-ended pens. So you've got like a fine nib and like a more of a fat one, and they do those ones. But obviously they don't do aircraft colours. So you can't get like greens, light earths and stuff like that. And obviously I ordered this set. Most of the colours probably won't end up using, but PM has got individual colours coming in as well. We've got the rack. So we'll have individual ones. So if you just want to buy a couple of colours and just have a go with it, then I think that'll be a really nice. I'm led to believe, and if you're obviously reading all the stuff online, they are supposed to colour match the AK range. So when it says it's this colour, it's exactly the same you find in the bottle. So again, for doing little touch-ups and weathering and stuff like that, I think they'll be really, really good. But they seem to have really good coverage, and they dry very nice. You know, that's the thing. You don't want to have it looking like it's been coloured in. You want it to look like it all blended like paint. And that was always my little thing with this one, to see what they look like when you do a larger area, to see if you can literally got brush marks in it or it's uneven. But it looks to be pretty good. So I'm looking forward to seeing those ones.
Yeah, no below.
Ian says, have I decided what colour I'm doing my Corsair in? You mean this one? This is my next build up. Obviously, this is for my classic build, because it does count, because it's 1989. For this particular one, we'll be starting this next week. And obviously, our two options are, as we got it on the box, no, in the kit are, I know it's in black and white. So we have got a couple of options down in here. We've got the high jobbies, the high vis one, which is probably what it's going to be. All right, so we got this one down in here from VA, is it 82? I think you remember, yes. So we've got the Marauders, quite a famous squadron for doing the Marauders. But also, we've also, if you wanted to go something a little bit different, which we're probably not, but you could do the Slough and do it as an Air Force bird. And again, the one over here is quite nice as well. So if you wanted to do it in sort of grey scheme, that's quite smart. I have got some other decals for it, but to be honest with you, I quite fancy doing the Marauders. And because we're trying to do this from how it was back in the day. This kit did come with the Marauders markings as version 1 when it came out. I think actually this might be version 2 that came out. But as I say, so I'm trying to keep it all very much as is. So looking forward to doing that one. It should be a lot of fun.
What colour scheme's the Air Force one then?
It's black and green.
Oh, right.
If I remember rightly.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So what is that? Is that a D?
This here is a D, yes.
A D, right.
A D, because the E is the Air Force one, I do believe. No, I've not put it over here. Let me just check. Again, this is one of those things. There's a little bit of controversy about this because people say that the D's not right and everything else. But I'm pretty sure it doesn't actually say on the instructions. Do you know what? I've never noticed that. You know how I like to do my camo and I just take a photo and then obviously photocopy this and blow it up. It's got the scales down in here. It says the chart has been reduced by 50% in the side view and 40% on the top view. That's quite handy to know. So I must admit, I didn't realise they put the size in because I normally go to the photocopier and then I take a photocopy of it and I blow it up by, I don't know, like 50%. Then I take the model and I put it over the top and see if it fits.
So when that was manufactured, how many people had their own photocopier?
Well, this is true. Probably not a lot, but then most people didn't know. But I didn't realise I actually had them on there that actually had the scales of what they were. But yeah, so this is the D and the E. I think the E was the Air Force version, wasn't it? And then the D was the Navy.
Which one could do the Vietnam scheme?
Well, technically that would be the Marauders off the front.
No, in the sea camo I meant.
Oh, what? Yeah, well, I don't think the Air Force, I don't think they flew them in Vietnam, did they? I don't know. I'm not up on that.
Yeah, they did.
Did they? I know obviously the Navy did.
I thought didn't they take over from the Sky Raider?
I think that would have been post-Vietnam, that job.
I don't know, because the Trumpeter one, the 32nd one, comes in sea camo, the Air Force one.
Yeah. Oh, right, okay.
And if I remember, the old Matchbox kit of it back in the day was in sea camo on the box when it was flying. And
yes, it was.
Yes. So yeah, they did use them. It must have been later on, obviously, but they did use them in Vietnam, I think.
No, I must admit, I quite fancied, because I haven't done any high-vis markings for a while. Done loads of camos and various things. I'm actually looking forward to doing a nice bright, proper white and gold grey.
Yes.
Get a bit of colour into it and all the rest of it. Because obviously with the Marauders, it's got a lot of blue on it as well, which is quite nice. So I'm thinking we're going to go with something a little bit high-vis.
Are you keeping it clean?
Well, no, it won't be that clean. It's going to have some weathering on it. It'll have a wash, clearly, but it'll probably have some post shading and some streaking and various bits onto it as well, being a navy bird. I might actually arm it as well, because I've got spare multiple ejector racks. I've got snake eyes, things like that as well. So we could actually put some bombs on it and various things. So, yes. And obviously it comes with sidewinders. That particular kit, I think it just comes with fuel tanks and sidewinders. Right. So we'll stick a couple of sidewinders on it on the cheeks. And then obviously for the we'll keep it with fuel tanks, and then maybe we'll put some bombs on the outer one or something else like that.
Cool. Yeah, I think you've got to arm one of them up.
Yes, definitely. It looks a bit better. There was always the trouble with Hasegawa kits that they didn't come with any weapons.
No.
Never came with weapons.
Well, you used to have to buy the aftermarket sets, didn't you? So, you know.
Jim says, question, is the enamel-based paint in the marker pens? I assume they are. Are you talking about the
acrylics?
If you're talking about the new ones, the AK ones, they're acrylic. It's basically they're acrylic pens.
If you're talking about the chrome,
they're enamel. Yeah,
they're enamels, aren't they?
Yeah. There was another question that I've just remembered from earlier, and it literally is, can you clean real colour with IPA and thin it? You could, but yeah, it's one of those. It's a lacquer, and lacquers and IPA are close, but there's no cigar. But for instance, for cleaning, I've got my little spritz bottle. That's pure IPA in there, 99.9%, and I just spray that in the colour cup, blow it through, give it a wipe, and we're good to go. But for actually thinning it onto the model, yes, you can do it, but it's not very good. You're better off using a pure lacquer that's designed for it, especially if you're doing small jobs like mottling or detail work, something else like that. What else we got? Question for John. Does the Buffalo have a combination of raised and recessed and engraved panel lines?
Yes, the fuselage is mainly raised. There is a little bit of engraved at the front. The wings are mainly engraved. Yeah, it's a strange mixture. Like I say, whether the real aircraft was like that, I suppose that's a possibility. But I'm just rescribing it all anyway, because I think I'm going to lose a lot of it when I'm sanding the fuselage seams and everything. So, and it's good practice. So, to be honest, it's not gone too bad. I've just gone astray in one area. So I'm going to, like we were on about the other night, I'm going to try using that to fill it.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And see how that goes. But I'm just using Tamiya black accent color just to run through all where I've rescribed.
Yeah.
And I've just gone, I thought I had the tape slipped, moved with one of these at the rear when I was doing it. So I've gone astray there. But like Matt said, it's something I always dread doing, rescribing. But once you actually get down to it, it's quite therapeutic. You just
it's one of them that you just wind yourself up thinking about it. But actually, once you get going, it's not that bad, is it?
Yeah.
Especially if you've got decent tools to do it.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, like when this thing, we fully, completely rescribed and re-riveted. Well, re-riveted, didn't have any. And again, it's one of those where if you treat sections, you just work along. So I treat it like outer wing. We did all of those. Then we did the midsection, then the inner wing, and then just work your way over. It doesn't take long. It feels like to do something like this is like a big day's job. Not really. I think within a couple of hours we had it down packed. You know, riveting takes a little bit longer purely because I've got no guide, so I don't know where they go. So again, we were using a little bit of Wifri on this one for where all the riveting is. But yeah, I think it's all right. It's one of those things. It looks good. I'm happy with it. I think it'll work.
Again, sorry, John, before you just jump in. Again, I think when I've been full rescribing the kit, I start off, say, with the top of a wing or the underneath of a wing, a flat panel, and like say, just do that first on its own. Forget the rest of it. Get that done, and then get an easy win under your belt to gain your confidence and to get your eye in, and then you can move on. Because obviously, when you're doing fuselage and it's a bit curved, it can get a bit more complex. Not too bad, but you know, get an easy win under your belt, and then, like I say, you'll just get into it. And it like before you know it, you've actually done it. It don't take as long as I think you think it's going to take. You know what I mean? So
definitely, if you're going to do it before you assemble it, because then you can lay it down flat. That
you
helps.
Get it flat, stops it moving. Yeah.
And the good thing with this, the raised panel lines are really fine. So all I've done is I've run the tape using the raised detail as a guide, then scribed, then just gone over with one of these lovely pieces of sanding sponge that were
no longer available.
Just to take out the old line, any of it that's still remaining.
Yes.
And it's not that difficult. You just got to be patient with it. And with your scriber, don't press with it. Just run it with its own weight. You start making the mistakes when you start putting pressure.
Pushing,
and pushing.
How many passes are you going over it? Do you know what? That is my downfall of remembering how many passes I've done.
I tend to do 3. Like on this one, I do a nice light one so it doesn't move off. Like John says, if you push, it'll go off. So if you let it light and just against your tape and then just pull or freehanding it, you can go in a nice straight line. But again, it's one of those. So it has one light one, and that's the track one. Second one, pull through. But I gauge it how much is coming off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So sometimes if I've got a low come off, I'll stop at 2. If I haven't got much, I'll go 3 or 4. So...
To be honest, this UMM scriber, I mean, I've got every scriber known to man, I think. And this one is brilliant. It doesn't take too much out.
Yeah.
As long as you, like I say, you don't gouge and really put pressure down. So I'll probably do 3 or 4 passes with it. So yeah, I can highly recommend that one, especially I think it's the number 3, the long one.
Yeah, the long one.
3, it is the good one. And the blade's good as well. It's got a nice blade on it for going over the curves and stuff. Just to get you going.
Yeah,
and you can push.
That's good if you want to get into wing routes.
Yeah.
Because it will go, you can push with it and it will go right up close.
Yeah.
Have you not tried rescribing with the razor saw yet, John?
Oh yeah, I've got one of those blades.
Yeah.
And this is my other favourite tool as well, is the God Hand.
Yeah.
Little scribing file, slot file. That's brilliant for tidying up.
Yeah. I think the only one I've not really ever got on with is a pea cutter. Tamiya pea cutter. I've never got on with one of them for scribing at all. Have you?
No. It's always, I always take too much away with the pea cutter. That's why I like these. I find them nice, but obviously because it's got the longer handle, it fits nice in your hand, and you can hold it a bit further back. So if you want to do straight lines, for instance, if you hold your scribe a little bit further back, I'll show you down on here. So like when we were doing all of this bit, so literally you can just pop it in and literally just lightly drag. It will stay in the groove and will pull on its own without having to go too much into it. With the shorter one, I tend to get a little bit more of this going on, and obviously never put your finger on the top. You keep your finger back and let the tool do the work. It's an old saying, I know, and we say it a lot, but literally when you're just coming along, it's just a case of like dropping it in the panel line and just dragging it through and go right up. And like John was saying, if you got this end, then you can actually come along and you can physically pop in and push it into, the various corners just to sharpen up edges. So you can come right in and you can literally just give it a push and just come right into all the bits. So if you need to do a little bit of cleanup, like to be honest, I do in here, you just need to sharpen this said line just a little bit. You've got more control pushing than you do trying to pull, because you can jump over. But with it, you can literally just come in and just literally just go right up to the edge and pop it in,
I tell you what,
it's one of those. It's all about control and not going out too far,
I might be making it up, but I'm sure I've seen somewhere, whether it was a YouTube video or something, but the big style pea cutters, they're actually designed, you're meant to push them.
Right, yeah, probably.
Them.
Yeah.
Whether that's true or not, I don't know.
To be honest, I owned mine for 15 years before I realised it's got a spare blade in it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What, you mean the bit where it says spare blades?
Yeah, but I've got the old one. Mine doesn't say that. In my defence, I've got the original one from the 90s, 80s, 90s here, and mine doesn't say that. So it doesn't actually have it unless I haven't read it. No,
an Olfa, is it? OLFA.
This is the Tamiya one. It's actually got Tamiya Scriber written on it, and you got the Tamiya thing here. But this is the Olaf type, as I call it. But I didn't realise that literally if you do that, you've got a spare blade down in there. But I must have owned this for about 15 or 20 years before I saw it online. And I thought, hey, go and have a look at mine. And suddenly I've got it. So,
do you think as well, these were originally designed for cutting plastic sheet?
Probably, yeah. Plastic card and stuff.
Scribing.
Yes, yeah.
Which is probably what they're really good at.
Snap.
Yeah, I bet they're really good for that, actually.
Yeah.
Thinking about it. Hey, have you still got them Velociraptor talons, Phil? I found mine. No clearing out the back office. I found mine in another toolbox. They never took off, did they?
No. Well, not surprised because the price was horrendous. I still... You mean these things? Those ones?
Oh, what, the Alex ones?
Tiny little things, got 0.2, 0.1.
No, not them ones. The ones that look like a claw.
Alex, Alex Scribers.
Can't remember now. Don't know.
Got that up on them. They look like a Velociraptor claw. There was about
I know, because I did a review on them. I don't know what I've done with them now.
See, I've got that one. That's the RB Productions. Like it comes in a photo etch sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I find that scratches the plastic more than cuts it.
Well, that's the thing I found with the 0.1. You know, with those ones there, they're the Tamiya ones, are like 45 quid each. It comes with a 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. If I'm doing it with a 0.1 or a 0.2, I can't even see it. It's so fine. It's not doing enough. It's not taking enough meat with it when you do it. And also, it's got a habit of just going off on its own. You know, you're like this, and then you take it away, and it's gone like that. And you're like, how? Why? You know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we all cut our teeth on these ones. That was the thing, you know?
That
and we wonder why your scribing's awful. Like
that's
a dental tool.
Foil scriber.
Right.
But that's just not. It's not comfy to hold in the hand.
Is that just a dental pick?
It looks like a dental
it looks
pick.
like.
It's got that end is quite lethal. It's got a little like V-shaped groove in it. But it's just it doesn't feel comfortable to hold in your hand. So yeah, I've never got on that. That was expensive as well when I bought it.
Funny, isn't it, how many scribers we've gone through till we all come to the conclusion the UMM ones are the best.
Okay, 2 questions. We've got one from it disappeared now. From Krista, and he was saying, do we have a date for the turkey shoot this year? When's Thanksgiving in America? America, are you awake? Whenever it's their Thanksgiving weekend is the weekend we do it.
Around the 24th. 24th is Thanksgiving, isn't it?
Yeah.
November.
So, hold on, let me have a look at the calendar. We can go this far forward. November the 24th is a Sunday, so I assume it's going to be then the Friday. Well, the 21st is the Thursday, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. So it'll be probably around about then. So the last weekend-ish, because the 30th is the last day of November, is on a Saturday. So I assume it's going to be then, because it's the Thursday, isn't it, onwards. So it'll be the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th.
That's good. That's the weekend off. That works nicely.
Subject to change, but no, it should be that one. And then Floryfest this year will probably go back to its normal date. Not that it ever had one, but yeah, that should go back to the second week in October, I think we do it.
Yeah.
So that'll be the 12th and 13th of October for that particular one.
Yeah, Tim says in chat he'd try the UMM scribers if PM could get them in, but I think you've got to order them direct, haven't you?
Yeah, you do. We did speak to John, because I do know John. He's a friend of mine, and I did ask him about getting them, but I think what it is, he struggles with keeping stocks. And as I know, when you're a small little business, you know, you get by, you know, say 100 at a time. He knows he's got 100. Then if I come along and take 20 of them, or 50 of them, or whatever it is, then it's thing. So he has to do a bigger order to come in. And I think John likes to keep his business, shall we say, close. So he doesn't want to particularly do stockists and various things like that. And obviously he has the hassle like we do of shipping internationally with VAT and import duties and things like that as well. So again, I think that's probably was the trouble, because we did speak to him, but to be honest, he didn't really come back to us. It was one of those things he said yes at the time and then didn't get back to me after that. So yeah, I think we leave it. But as I say, go off and see John. He's a really nice guy. He's very easy to talk to. Just go onto his website. If you are in the UK or EU, he will ship to you, but he works out the shipping because he's been, you know, like we all have, stung as well. So he gets your order together, weighs it, tells you what the shipping is, you pay, then he sends it. So I know it's a long-winded way where people like to click and go, but he's old school like the rest of us. Question, what scheme are you doing in the Halifax in? I do, after seeing the invasion stripes, I think we should do invasion stripes on it, and I have a horse or glider behind it.
Yeah.
But yes, I have 2 options. If I can find my thing for it. Hold on, what have I done with it? This is all in here. It is, yes, our 2 options are the one with a crosstail with Q. Does it not tell you what the schemes are? So it doesn't actually tell you what the schemes are. I have 3 options in here. We can do H7Q, We can do NPF, or we can do EYG, or yeah, Echo Yankee Golf. So one's just got 2 yellow stripes on the tail going horizontally. So literally, I know you can't really see on this one what it actually looks like because it's a bit plain. But obviously there is one lot of aftermarket decals available to this. But you might remember what we actually did was I put these out in the sun when we had the sun a couple of weeks ago. And I've cleaned them all up because these were really yellow to start with. And I put them out in there for an afternoon in the sun and they've gone really nice. So hopefully they won't explode on contact. But to be honest, with this red, I would spray it on anyway. I wouldn't attempt to use that decal, not that big. And same with the yellow, we'll be doing it. And to be honest, I might go for a mask and we'll do everything masked on this one. But obviously, Friday the 13th is the most popular one, which I've got some photos of it somewhere. But that's literally what we've got. We've got this one down in here. So, that's our options.
There isn't any others, is there?
Limited, because as far as I know, there's only one decal company out there. And I don't know if they're available at the moment. So that would be the thing to that one. So, but I did see it. It looks quite cool. When they were doing, obviously, for the D-Day, they were used a lot for towing gliders. And so I thought maybe, with invasion stripes onto it. Apparently they just carried them on the tops of the wings. So that looked quite cool. But I don't know how that would work with the markings we've got on various things. So again, when I get to that stage, we'll do a lot more with it. At the moment, I've got it to this stage, which I'm very happy with. So I'm going to have a break from it for this week. I'm going to have a week off. I'm going to literally put it to one side, which you know what that means. I'll be working on it anyway. But then we're going to come back, another coat of primer onto it, just recheck everything's all good. And then obviously we'll be getting this thing into paint properly and we can really start to push on with it. Everything else is done for this one. The bomb bays are done now. The wheels, the gear and everything else is all sorted for it. So yeah, we should all be good. But no, it's all right. It's come together very nicely. And to be honest, it is looking a little bit like Halifax these days. So yes, we're all good. It'll be all right, as they say.
Miss it when it's done.
I will. It will sit on my wall next to I got my Lancaster there, and there'll be pride of place next to each other.
What's been retired?
Well, this is it, you see. So up here, I've got, currently as it stands here, I've got Lancaster B17, Vulcan B52 up on the wall. So to be honest, maybe the B52 is going to have to go to make room.
Yeah.
So I thought we could have the B17 flanked by both the RAF ones, and the Vulcan can stay where it is. So it might have to go there. But as I say, I won't be here much longer because, to be honest, I've got the structural engineer coming on 2 weeks' time on Monday. So I may be moving out here when this all starts to get going.
Ooh.
So, yes. So probably only be a year from now, I won't be in here. I'll be in the new place. So, yes. Watch this space.
Exciting.
All you need now, Phil, is a 1/48 scale Sterling.
Well, this is true. It would be nice. Do you know what? The thing is, you get the bug for this now. And I thought, it'd be quite nice. I'm going to have to do a Wellington at some point. So what have we got? Trumpet? Is the only option?
Wellington's 48? Really good. Yeah, Trumpet.
So I'm thinking
Wellington.
Maybe do a Welly, because then we can have the bomber fleet. Because I've got the B-25, so we can work our way through the bomber fleets, the medium and heavy bombers.
Well, you've got Marauder, haven't you? So, yeah.
So, yes. Whoever put the link up, is there any pictures? Halifax with 78 Squadron. I don't know. I might look into it because obviously my great uncle used to fly the Halifax. He was a navigator on the Halifax before he went over to the Warwick that killed him. So, but yeah, so might be an interesting one to do on that one. So I might try and find out which squadron he was with for this particular one, and I might do it in his markings. So,
have you never fancied doing a Warwick?
The only one that's out there is Mac Form.
Well, I know, but it's not something you can't tackle.
It's rough as toast. It literally is awful.
Yeah, but you can use a donor kit, can't you?
Yeah, well, to be honest, that I was going to say. But when you say donor kit of a Warwick, for people who don't know, the Warwick was the upgraded version of the Wellington, and it was the largest twin-engine bomber of World War II. And apparently it was awful. And do you know what's really funny is that a while ago, somebody got in contact with me about it when I spoke about it before. And he was saying how it was one of the best bombers of World War II. And it's funny because I was lucky enough many, many years ago when I was a young lad to meet the crew that went down, that my great-great-uncle was killed. And they described it as the worst plane they've ever flown. And you talk to other people and they say it was awful because it was underpowered. It couldn't fly on one engine and it was just a complete pig. And you speak to other people and they're saying, oh, it's the finest bomber of World War II. And it's like, well, someone's lying.
Yeah.
So,
personal opinion, though, isn't it?
Yeah, personal opinion on that.
If you've had a bad experience in something, you're not going to think fondly of it, are you?
Well, apparently, because obviously it was farmed out to be the air sea rescue aircraft. So it used to carry the lifeboat underneath it. And that's how he died. He went off in a mission and they lost an engine. And apparently it can't fly with it on one engine. So it has to crash. So it made a forced landing. And sadly, he was killed. He never made it out. But 3 of the crew did make it out. The pilot made it out. But obviously the front end didn't. So, yeah, that was the end of that one. But, yeah, apparently it had a habit of being unreliable and it was a sod to take off because it was too big and underpowered. So.
Not one of the greatest design things then, was it?
No. David says, question, where to get the UMM scribers from? So if you put in umm.usa.com, I think it is, you end up at John Wojtek's site, and you can get them directly from him.
Get some. They're well worth the pennies.
Oh. Neil says about you ought to do the Corsair armed up for the Vietnam look. With the shark's mouth. I've done the shark's mouth one with the big teeth on it and all the rest of it. So I have done that one in the past.
David, just remember, if you're going to get just one, I think it's the number 3, the longer one.
Yes, this one. It does say on it, I think. Yeah, number 3.
Yeah, number 3.
It's a SCR03. What was that? Question for Matt. How come you're building the Spitfire and not Hampton?
Because I need to put time into the Hampton, and at the minute I ain't got time because we've got a lot going off at work. So once I've moved, I'm back on the Hampton. So don't you worry yourselves, it will be getting done.
Yost is in chat. Hello, Yost. Good to have you in here. We're all good, thank you.
Yeah, we are all good, actually.
Dirk says about them flying out of Wick. They did, but my great uncle, he was in the Far East flying them. They were on a mission out there. They used to go out and escort the bombers back and things like that as well. And apparently that's where that happened because he's buried in Singapore. Well, he's not buried. His memorial is on the wall in Singapore because my family were out there a couple of years ago, about 10 years ago, and went out and saw the memorial on the wall in Singapore for him.
Who's the dog? I'm barking at. Nobody there.
Yeah, I'm sure probably John will be at the Nationals, IPMS Nationals in Madison, Wisconsin today. Is it today? Is the US Nationals? That's come around quietly. Didn't hear anything about it.
Yeah, it must be. I've seen things on Facebook about it.
Yes, I'm sure he's there.
John's got his jam lid.
Oh, right, that's it. Oh, he's wet and drying, look.
To be honest, I always wet sand when I can now because it just cuts down on the mess.
Yeah, I think you get a nicer, smoother finish as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. So, Dirk's saying about there's a memorial in Wick for another crew that was lost. I bet they had an engine go out as well.
Yeah, probably. I bet it had more flying accidents than...
That was the thing. That's what I was told. That the thing, it's not enemy fire. I don't think enemy fire never took one out. I think it was purely just reliability problems and being underpowered. Apparently it didn't like certain weather conditions Didn't like it hot and humid, so that's clearly why they were in the Far East. And so they were limited on fuel because of the weights and the various things to it as well. But yeah, apparently it was more of a reliability problem. From what I was told, it was supposed to get an upgraded engine because it had these, I don't know, it was the Bristol Hercules, whatever's in those things. It was supposed to get a more powerful upgraded engine, but it never got it. So it went on with a lesser engine, and that was the problem because it didn't like flying on one engine. I think Wick was used by pretty much all the search and rescue type things, wasn't it? And the sort of coastal command. Because down in here, this part of the world, just up the road from Exeter Airport is Dunkerswell, and that was a base for Lysanders, the RAF Lysanders for Coastal Command. They were there.
Another plane where we need a decent kit of it.
See, there you go. It's all coming out now. There's another one crashed just after taking off at St Morgan down in Cornwall.
Yeah.
Yeah, always a problem with those things.
Wouldn't want to be assigned to fly that aircraft, would you?
Well, no. And the thing is, it was known for it. That's the thing. It was known to be of a bit of a problem. So he flew the Halifax successfully and did various missions with it. And then for whatever reason, he ended up going over onto the Warwick and flying those. But the real kicker to it is, it was 2 days before the end of the war. So he almost made it through the entire of World War II flying bombers, which is no mean feat. And then 2 days before the end of the war, he was lost. So
lost to a flying accident.
I
have no idea what's up with my dog today. She's proper restless.
Chris says he saw a Nimrod landing at St Morgan in '84 with the flames coming out the back end. Yeah, they had a habit of that. If you obviously, I'm sure they do it elsewhere, but because of the weather in Cornwall can be a little bit climatic, shall we say, and a bit moist and damp. It always used to be the thing that if you were at the end of runway, whichever one is the southern runway, there used to be a car park there and there'd be a food wagon there. It's great. And so you could park there and literally they come right across you. And you're pretty much close to the piano keys at that point. And as the Nimrods were coming in, obviously after a long sortie, because in those days that was a Nimrod base, and they used to fly it. But when they came in, you used to get static discharging off of the aircraft, and they used to have these long wires up that would catch the lightning coming off of them, as obviously they are so full of energy coming through the bad weather. And as they would land, you get the snap of it, and you see the little lightning strikes coming off the aircraft before it touched down. That was always pretty cool because you'd hear it. And obviously, if anyone's been around in Nimrod, you know they are very noisy things, smoky and noisy.
Yes. Yeah, I remember seeing them at air shows, actually. Yeah, they are. You're right.
What made me laugh is I remember going to Riat when they did the new version of it. Was it the MR4, the latest one? And I remember thinking, because I'd seen Nimrods loads and loads of times, and it used to be the thing, they were known for being really noisy. As well. It's like, think of it like the Vulcan. It's the same engines, I think. And literally, this thing came along, the new one, smokeless, and it was almost silent. It was like, what happened? It used to have such a good thing at air shows, being noisy. They used to do the pass down the runway, full beans, and then pull up and into a high turn and be really noisy. And this thing was really quiet. Then he got canned.
Broken it.
Oh, look at that. Interesting. So the Warwick that crashed in Cornwall was due to an explosion on board. Suspected sabotage as it was carrying special agents.
All right.
Oh, there you go. Apparently the Nimrod had the Spey engines. Isn't that the same Spey engines in the Phantom then? And then the Vulcan had the Olympus.
I've got the Airfix Vulcan down here, actually. Not Vulcan, Nimrod down here. That's definitely on me to do. I like the early ones with the grey and white.
So I think that's Crispin says, is there a good 48 scale Supercat Jaguar or Sebcat Jaguar available? Well, your options are Airfix Hella, very old, not brilliant, or the Kitty Hawk one. I quite like it as long as you have all the panels open, because then it fits. And I've built it. It's over there. I've done it in winter camo. Really nice kit, really nice build, to be honest. I know a lot of people have slated it, but I didn't have their problems. But unfortunately, being Kitty Hawk, very hard to find. Although I was told, again, if it's true or not, I'm not sure, that there may be some floating around. So maybe making their way on, to resale soon. So we just have to wait and see.
I'll tell you what, they've been, whoever's taking their moulds on, taking the time, aren't they?
Yeah, but I did hear there's a rumour going round, and I say this with a pinch of salt. There's a rumour. I haven't seen anything, and I don't know anything definitive, but they're starting to filter through now. So we might get a few of them. They are starting to crop up in certain places in the Far East. So I'm hoping that at some point someone's going to take them on and bring them back over here.
I saw a thing come up. It must have been on Facebook, and it was one of the Far East model shops, and they suddenly had a load.
Yeah, yeah. But they're coming up under Kitty Hawk as well, not under a certain other brand who I thought they were going to come up under. Yeah, they've come out as Kitty Hawk. So, yeah.
Yeah, when I looked, they were like Kitty Hawk boxings.
Yeah, yeah. So well, that's what I've been told as well.
Somewhere.
Yeah. Apparently, the Buccaneer, the Phantom, and the Nimrod all use the Spey engines. I didn't know that.
You do now.
Oh, that's it. That's interesting, that. Apparently, according to Adam, that the moulds need substantial cleaning. So that's why they've been delayed.
All right, okay. They've gone rusty.
Probably. That's normally what happens. They go rusty. At Phil, standard Flory washes, best to thin with warm distilled water. You don't have to. You can just use normal tap water. If you've got distilled water, cold will do it just as well, but warm will just make it work quicker. That's how it will love it, because, to be honest, that's what it's made of. It's distilled water. So, yeah, you'll be fine with that one. Yes, it's not very nice over here today, Yost. Over here, it's, yeah, it's drizzling at the moment as I look out the window. Yesterday, balmy, probably 27 degrees here. It was absolutely cooking. And Thursday was nice. And then today, no, not so. Bit horrible.
Can I just say it's lovely and sunny here and 24 degrees. So.
Yeah, wait for it.
It's going to be nice. We're missing it.
You're going to dodge it all.
In our little valley, we've protected. Right, what am I doing now? Looking for parts that I've just cut off. Oh, keep doing that. Cutting stuff off and forgetting where I've put it.
Apparently, here's the one for the useless information that we can give you. From David says that A7 used a US-built Spey engine.
Did it really?
Look at that. Who knew?
License built, was it?
Might be, yeah. There you go. Never knew that. Interesting things you learn.
Bet you've got an A7 book, haven't you?
I have actually somewhere. Yes, I have. It's not a full-on one, but yeah, it's one of those smaller books. Can't remember whose it is now. I've got one on the A6 and the one on the A7 as well.
Didn't you ever fancy trying Trumpeter's one?
Yeah, but again, that's the trouble with that is the intake and the canopy are wrong completely. It's not deep enough and high enough. It's like it's been squashed on the front. Now, who's that one? Somebody made was it Exacto kit? Did a replacement backform canopy for it, which then cures that problem, and they did a new intake for it. And the thing is, it's one of those things, it's almost a must. You have to have it because it is so noticeable. Yeah, the Hasegawa kit's a fair representation, but the Trumpeter one's just awful. So that's why I've steered away from it. I've never built the 32nd one because of it. And I don't know if the Exacto one is still available. You don't hear of those anymore. They used to do loads of stuff like for the flanker. They basically made a living out of replacing everything that was wrong with Trumpeter's 32nd line. Like, so they did the flanker and the MiG-29, and it was all the bits that were wrong with it. But you don't hear of them anymore.
I'm surprised they've gone out of business then.
What are the Hobby Boss A7s like?
I don't know the way they do the wings. The way the wings go on is pretty awful.
Yeah, but in the intake,
I prefer the Hasegawa one, but as for intakes and stuff like that, I don't know because I've never actually done it. But this one here, what I like about this one is obviously it's got. I'll show you in here. It's got the one-piece wing set going over the top, so it literally, like the A7, they did it, and with the F8 Crusader, it just drops down and on. So you've just got two little seam lines at the top to do. The other kits, obviously, it's the wings that go on. You've got to do the wing join. And the angle to them is quite a distinctive, is it anhedral or dihedral? Can never work out. Whichever one faces downwards, onto it as well. So the thing is, with the Hobby Boss ones, when I dry fitted it, when you did it, you ended up with a seam line to get it to the right angle. So it was one of those where this one, it's really nice, it's good, it's clean, it's sharp. It's got very fine recessed rivets. It's got very fine, obviously, panel lines, and generally it's a really, really nice kit. The other thing I like about it is, I'll get it out of the baggy half, is the electronic space. Oh, where are we? Get this out. Come on. Are molded in. So you've got really nice electronics bays down in here. I bet Quinta's probably done a replacement for this where you could sand this and redo it. But straight off the bat, when you just look in here, you see you've got nicely detailed wheel wells. You've got nicely detailed electronics base. You've got the step as well, so you can do with the boarding ladder down and all the rest of it. It's not too bad at all. It's actually quite a nice kit. The only trouble with it is you have got the ejector pins in pretty much everywhere because it's old school. It's just showing its age from that. But generally it's nice, and it's that really strong plastic. Can't say the word because everyone thinks I'm being racist when I say it's clinky. Clinky. Chinky. I call it chinky because it makes a chinky sound. Not plastic is because it's Chinese, because it's not Japanese. Different thing. Just saying. Again, I'm not a fan of the Hobby Boss weapons. If you want weapons, right, you want to get Hasegawa weapon sets for it, which I have got.
Oh no, they're too modern, aren't they? The Meng ones, because they did weapon sets, didn't they?
Yeah, I've got it down here. Hold on. Let me just show you. It's in my under storage cupboard.
We get them Hasegawa ones in sporadically when we can, don't we?
Yeah.
And they always sell because they're not very expensive.
Yeah, what? I've got the right one, yeah? Is it that one or that one? That one or that one? I have got a few. Because to be honest, you need them. There we go. Is these. Let me just move in. So yeah, the ones that you need. These are, again, classic. These I don't even know what year these got released. I don't think I've got a date on them somewhere. 87. There we go, 1987. Have we got an A? There's A. So you get all your free fall bombs. So you've got retarded ones, normal as well. So you've got 250s, 500s, 1,000, 2,000 pound bombs. Very nice. But also down in here, you get the multiple ejector rack and the triple ejector rack. And also, if you're doing F-16s, these are great because these have got the little rocket pods. Salvo ones, and then underneath you get the training rounds, the little 25-pound dummy bombs, and obviously target toes. I don't think they so much use those anymore, but so you've got those, so that's actually quite a good one. Then you've got B, which was your staple because you needed Phoenix missiles if you were doing the Hasegawa F-14, but again you've got the rockets as well, so you've got your big sort of zoomy rockets as well as obviously your normal, and you've got them with covers or not. You've got jammer pods as well, so you've got the old type ones, the old ALEs, and the new ones. And again, various other guided weapons down here from, obviously ball pops and various things, and pave spike pods in there. So that was always quite a good one. And then obviously for your air-to-air weapons, then obviously you've got the old Sidewinders. What is it? The P, I think the oldest one. And then right the way up, and you've got the Falcon missiles, Mavericks, Sparrows, and then you've got Shrike, Harm missiles, sidearm and all the rest of it. And then obviously you've got the Gatling gun pods as well for doing your Phantoms as well. So yeah, so those were your staple. You needed those sets if you ever built Hasegawa ones, A, B, and C. They do D as well, but we're not too worried about that one. So I must admit, PM got these in a while ago, wasn't it? But I'm still working my way through mine because I've got loads of them from my commission days. So, but yeah, 1987, these were all released by the looks of it. Because you needed it. Copyright 87. 1987, they got copyright on all of these.
Wow.
So, yeah. And also, they do those sets in thingy as well. 72nd, if I remember rightly. So, yes. But no. So, yeah, we'll be starting this one this week, which will be nice. What do I do with it? There we go. Oh, I lose all the stuff.
So I take it, if you get the Revel box into that, then you get weapons in that, or?
Oh, do you know what? I don't think you did. I think it was that kit in it. I could stand corrected. I know some of them they did when they did reboxings of it, because that was a nice thing with the Revel boxing. You got the weapons with it. I don't know. I can't remember that far back. The nice thing, it used to be with the Revel boxing, of course, it was literally half the price of getting a Hasegawa one. That changed, didn't it? Hasegawa being Revell being cheap, that soon went out the window. Yes, so the members are saying they're really liking the classic builds. I think it's great. It stretches you a little bit if you're used to doing your brand new Tamiya kits and your Tamigawa kits and all things like that. It's quite nice to do something a little bit older because you don't have to do something really bad. You can do something quite nice, but it's still a nice older kit. So that's why I've gone with the Corsair. It's an older kit, but I think it's probably still the best in scale.
There's definitely been some good entries. I've got to say, it is nice to see people are making the effort. I was looking through it last night, to be honest. And there's some really good stuff.
Yeah, we were talking about it the other evening, weren't we? And it's like, it's nice to see not everyone's just jumped on old Tamiya or 80s Hasegawa or anything. There's some really, really old stuff.
Find some parts would be nice.
Has anyone airbrushed Liquitex varnishes? If so, what's your experience?
No.
No, never
heard on them. Can we get them over here? I think we can, can't we? I think get them from like the range and stuff.
Yeah.
No, I've never used them, so I can't say if they're any good, bad, or indifferent.
Does everyone have any good references so I can make some masks for an S3 Viking, seeing that my decals are shot? There's loads online. If you just have a look online, there's millions for references like that. Literally tons of it.
Hey, them new ones as Trumpeter doing some Vikings.
Well, yeah, eventually.
Yeah, what were they doing them in?
30-second though, isn't it? They're doing a big one.
The catalogue, isn't it?
Yeah.
Weren't they doing a 70-second one as well?
I don't know, to be honest.
I thought they were doing the family and think we were doing 48th ones. Hobby Boss.
Don't know. Must admit, I know they're doing the 30-second one, but
they do seem to be back at it now, don't they? Trumpeter, Hobby Boss, and all them.
But that's been in their catalogue for a while, hasn't it?
Has it?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it?
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was quite a recent thing for them. I know the Devastator was it that was in for years, and then that's finally actually made an appearance. But don't know. Don't know.
Yes, that's the review you've got Monday.
What is?
The Devastator. That'll be up with you Monday for the review, just out of interest.
Devastator? What Devastator?
This Devastator, the one you sent me.
Which one?
This one.
Oh no, I'm on about the 32nd one, but yeah, I forgot
right.
48.
Oh, the big one, yeah.
Done the 32nd one as well, haven't they?
Right,
yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
To be honest, I think that'd be quite cool, doing it with a metal body, blue tail and yellow wings. Quite
nice
cool,
and
that.
colourful.
Yeah, better than just the normal sort of, white, blue and blue. So, very nice. Be cool to do that one.
Yeah.
Very nice. So next week up with you, I've got that one up Monday, then it'll obviously be throughout the week. I've got the 109, which is the K4 coming up. I've got the Puma and I've got a T72 as well coming up this week. So nice lot of reviews coming your way.
We'll have some more in a couple of weeks as well, because we'll have a new A10 to review.
Yes, we'll have a look at the new one. See if it's worth all the hype, which it should be, because we could do with a proper updated nice one, because instead of it being the old Trumpeter one, isn't it, Hobby Boss one, that keeps getting a new outing.
Thingy one's all right though, isn't it? The Academy one.
Yeah, the Academy one.
Oh, price point again, isn't it?
For the price point, yeah. What's a good way of fixing weathering powders, ground chalk pastels? Basically,
you can't.
Yeah, the trouble is, if you try and fix them, you'll kill them. That's the trouble with dusty powder finishes. If you try and overcoat them, they go. If you put down, like the way I used to do it, was like enamel thinners first, or pigment fixers, a Sun Company uses enamel thinners. Put that down. But when you put the powder onto it, it goes really dark because it gets absorbed into it. And obviously what it does is melt it slightly and then it sticks. And then over the next course of probably a week, it will dry out and give you the look. But I've always maintained if you're going for a dusty type of look to your model and you're going to use pigments and things like that, then you need to literally let it just, unlike it do in real life, just sit there. Don't handle it. That's the thing. So, when my MRAP came back the other day, which is, here, I can show you, came back at 4 p.m. They just get it out without breaking it. Probably a tall order, but hopefully. Obviously, this thing we did pigments all over it to make it look quite nice. I can try and pick this up now. As I say, without breaking it is the problem. See, there you go. None of this is fixed. So when we came up doing this, it's got a lot of pigments on this, especially around the wheels and the dusty areas and stuff like that. But the thing is, none of it is fixed. So if you was to be handling down in here, you're literally going to polish it off. But I want to have it as that dusty look. So that's what we sort of did to it. To have it, to give it that sort of worn look and all the rest of it. So still want one of these as my daily drive. Just think it'd look cool going to Asda. Yeah, if you go to Asda in it, it'd be fine.
Yeah. Sure you'll find a parking space.
Well, it doesn't matter. Just leave it out the front. What are they going to do? Can't clamp it.
Yeah.
Need a big clamp. Here we go.
I don't know. I bet if you took one of those down our Asdas, you'd still come back and find the wheels missing and it on bricks.
Yeah, that's it. Is it the standard with all US military vehicles that don't have keys? I always think that's quite funny, isn't it? Because Humvees and that don't have keys. Yeah. So, like, do they have an isolator switch or can anyone just nick one? Because the funny thing is, on the Apache helicopter, that has a key. How does that work? You actually get in and then you've got your battery switch, the key goes into it and then you turn the key, which then turns the battery on. Without it, you can't start it. I always think that's quite funny. An attack helicopter, which, let's face it, is not that nickable, has a key, but a vehicle that anybody could just take, I don't know, just seems a bit weird, that. Yeah, see, that's what we need to do. Like Chris says, Bill goes to Asda, the membership increases by 100%. Yoss send, Flory team, any of you guys into radio controlled models, ground, air, water? Not really. Used to be. I used to have tanks. Still got them there. I've got a Tiger 16th scale metal Tiger that has got a problem because I can't get it to drive. I think the gearbox is seized or something. Needs to have a little bit of work on that one. See what's going on.
You've got a Land Rover.
Yeah, got a Land Rover still to do. I've got the classic Defender 90 Defender Tamiya one to build. It's up there. Matt's got his Jeep.
Now I've got
buggy.
my Sandscorcher.
Beach buggy. Yeah, that's it.
My Beetle. My super duper Beetle. Yeah, no, I was looking at that one. It's lived upstairs for God knows how long. I was looking at it when we were moving stuff.
I've always liked the idea of flying ice RC, but it's just that the cost of it, and if you crash it,
you
have it.
I must admit, that's the thing. I've always wanted to get into RC helicopters, and I've got a couple of members who fly them, and they've offered to give me lessons and stuff like that. But it absolutely terrifies me when you're flying around a couple of grand's worth of stuff and they explode. I think I'd just cry.
What helicopter would you have?
I'd have Airwolf in RC form. Or a Hind. I have a Hind 24. That'd be cool as an RC. One of those big jet turbine ones. If you're going to do it, go big.
Why don't you just have a Halo then? You wouldn't have a Wessex?
Oh yeah, Wessex would be cool. Yeah, I'd have a Wessex.
What if you can get an RC helicopter Wessex?
Yeah, I bet you can. I bet someone must do one. Round here though, the trouble is I always wanted to get into drones, flying drones, but because I'm literally on the edge of the national park, that's a no-fly zone area, full stop. And there's nowhere to fly them around here. You just get slated by everyone. Chris says we used to shoot them as part of our anti-aircraft training. Yeah, with those big Armatech kits, they're great, but you can buy a normal family car for that.
Oh, they have them down at Bovington, weren't they?
Yeah.
When they
I think they're like 7 to 10 grand. You know,
when they have to have their own van to bring them in.
Yeah. They have their own little vehicle to bring them in.
Yeah, that's a sight to behold when they're running them out the back of a transit van, isn't it?
Yes. I have said what I'd love to do when I retire, which won't be long, is I'd love to get a big radio-controlled plane of something. I actually, in my head, I would love to do the Sky Raider. Get a giant RC one, completely strip it back, probably skin it, because you know what they're made of, like that foamy stuff and all the rest of it. Skin it in plastic card, and then rescribe, re-rivet it, and give it the same level of detail right the way through that obviously our models have. Completely, and then literally, so this thing I can ground taxi it because I'm not, brave enough to fly it. Plus, by the time I finish it, it'd be too heavy. But you could fire it out, ground taxi it, and you could have the wing fold working and the gear retracts, and you've got the sort of, the sound of it firing up and all the rest of it. I've always said I'd love to do something like that. Just have a big scale, 1/9 scale something and do that to it.
Some of that really big stuff you see, it's you've got to have a license to do it, and some of it's got to be FAA approved.
Yeah, because they do it down the road from you, John, don't they? They do it at that. They do it at that dispersal base just down from you. The satellite one for Yeovilton. What's that called?
Oh, Merrifields.
Merrifield, yeah, because they do large scale. Because I've seen people down there fly C-17s and stuff, huge big things down there, the big jet ones. But yes.
So your Sky Raider then. If it's a ground taxi one, are you going to retract the undercarriage?
Yeah, but you wouldn't. You could just show it could retract its gear. But I quite like the idea of having working flaps and obviously then. But I would probably, because obviously with RC stuff it's all quite quick, but try and slow it down so the gear retracts. It does it in sort of scale form, and obviously for the wing unfold and folding up as well and do things like it. But yeah, and I could just ground taxi it around and it just look cool.
Because what was that? Years ago, there was that series, wasn't there, where that guy, I think the first one he did a 1/48 scale HMS Fearless. And then they did a flying scale C-17 Globemaster.
Yeah.
And that thing was enormous.
Oh yeah, absolutely huge. I saw one the other day actually on the old YouTube. It popped up, and that was a big scale F4 Phantom. And to be honest, when it was flying in the sky, I think it was like a J, you couldn't tell it from the real thing. It looked like the real thing. It's only when he landed it, it came in a bit quick because it's obviously RC. But that thing was a monster, absolutely huge. It was like the size of a car.
Logistics of owning one, though, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's the cost, isn't it? Yeah, like it says, it's cheaper to watch them crash in compilations on YouTube. I know, that's what I see. You see them go in like a fireball when they explode into the ground, and there goes like 20 grand of your hard-earned money and a million man hours into it, and you just watch it turn to dust. Also, it did put me off when I was talking to one of our members who's into it. He said, you will crash. That's what's expected because everybody crashes. And it's like, yeah, but that's the bit that'll kill me. I don't want to feel that, you know? Oh, it's all right. He said, you'll just recover all the parts from it and go again. Ah.
The thought of rebuilding something is not very appealing, is it? That's the problem.
No. I like watching them, don't get me wrong, because they have them at, when it used to be the old Yulverton model show, they used to have them flying. I used to like watching them do the radio control group, and that's quite cool. And I like watching them on YouTube, but yeah, the thought of doing it myself.
The other thing is living over here, isn't it? And all the restrictions and the space we haven't got.
Yeah, and that is the problem. We just don't have the space to do it. Like John says, I think anything over a certain size, you need a license. You know, you have to get restricted airspace to be able to fly it in and all things like that. Yoss says, does anybody know of a decent kit of the Sikorsky RAH-64 Comanche? The only one I can think of is a Tallery did one. I think it's 72nd. Might have done a 48th, but that was a long time ago. That would have been back in the 90s. I think that came out when the Comanche was coming down the line.
Was that the thing to the Apache?
Yeah, it was the stealth version of the Apache, but never made it, did it? Fly-by-wire helicopter. What do we think of the new Airfix Spitfire, the Mark 8? We did discuss this the other day. Again, I think it's a nice kit. It's obviously a step up from or an upgrade to the standard Airfix 24 scale neutral Spitfire. Got some interesting markings. The colour options I think are good. So
yeah,
I think it's all right.
Probably an improvement over this thing I'm building.
It's all right, Karine. I'm not retiring anytime soon. I can't afford to retire. I've got a mortgage until I'm about 105. It's fine.
Yeah, you can't die.
I can't die or anything. I can't do that till I pay my mortgage off. I'm going to be about 83 by then. So it's fine.
Especially when he's had his new kitchen fitted.
Yes. All right. I've got the structural engineer coming the Monday after you lot go home.
Oh, so it's all go then, is it?
Yeah, she's coming to have a look. See how much iron work and metal we're going to need to hold it up.
It's cheaper to build yourself a new house.
Well, yeah, it probably will end up that. By the time, it's funny enough, I spoke to the builder this morning and he said, don't forget you need to factor in a contingency. And I know my contingency is going to have to be bigger than the actual build cost, I reckon.
Yeah.
It's bad enough when we did the steps out the front.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So Lamar's just saying about apparently Tallery did do the 48 scale Comanche. I think it's a bit basic, but you could do a little bit of work to it.
Did Revell do one?
I don't know. No, for Revell, unless it was a Reeboks. It might have been a Reeboks.
I
didn't Revell do the 72nd scale?
I'm sure somebody else did one. Monogram? Did they do one? No.
John says, Phil, recently got the monogram Visible B17. What's the best way to glue the clear parts to the main model? So, honestly, I've got that kit there. It's over here, to be honest. It's right next to me. To be honest, I can't get it out. It's under a pile of kits. But yes, I have it as well. What I would personally do is mask maybe like a centimetre in from it and mask all the clear stuff. All right, so then when you glue it together, you've got two things. One, you've got a margin of error. So if you do use weld action glues and it clouds and, you know, goes misty and all the rest of it, you're not going to see it. It'll be fine. But also it'll enable you to sand and take care of the filling line of it as well. So you can sand and fill, and then you haven't got to sort of polish it back up to be nice. And then what I would always recommend is putting the nice little bead of red all the way around it. So it's like one of those, you know, exposed things. You know, and you can get away with it that way. What I wouldn't do is literally just try and keep it clear to glue two halves together. You've always got to do with the seam line, unless you're not going to worry about it and do it. But obviously it's the entire fuselage half, or one half is done with it. And so I have the kit over there. That's how I would go about doing it. I'm just looking how they did it on the box. It looks like that they just did it. So yeah, that's how I would go about doing it anyway. I'll put it in and do it that way. This is very true. Men are children. It's just their toys get more expensive. Very true.
Yeah. Very true.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Tom's got a few. He's got 5 RC aircraft, including a 400mm Mustang. Is that 2-meter Ranger, which is a Cessna 182. That's a big one then. A 1.5-meter Mustang 2, and 1 jet. He's got an F3 Tornado. Very nice, Tom. Nigel says he's going to retire through ill health in November. What, you're planning this?
Yeah.
Is that what you're telling him at work? I've got it sorted. I'm going to go ill in November and retire. Yeah. So he says now he's a professional modeler. Absolutely. Join the club. No, he says he's going to retire in November. Good. Enjoy your retirement. Keep busy. That's what I'm going to say. Otherwise, you'll get the retirement curse.
Yeah. I was about to say exactly the same.
God, amount of people I know, it's scary. Did Hasegawa release a new tooled aircraft kits after their V-22 Osprey? Sorry, bit of feedback. Who's got feedback?
Feedback, I heard that.
Yeah, a bit of feedback. Did miss any Hasegawa reviews on their channel? On the channel. To be honest, are you talking about the 72nd scale Hasegawa one? They have done things since then, but not prolific. They seem to have moved over more to the sort of what's it called? That sci-fi type stuff they do.
Oh, the Macross, is it?
Yes, yeah, and that type of thing. But yeah, they haven't been as prolific perhaps as well we used to see them in the 90s. They were everywhere.
No, they're very quiet on new like aircraft and stuff, aren't they? Or it's just the Reeboks and new decals.
New decals. Well, we did say for the last 20 years that Hasegawa are a redecaling company, not a manufacturer.
But to be fair to Hasegawa, they were well ahead of the time because everybody else does it now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So.
Yeah, I don't know really what's happened to Hasegawa because, again, they seem to take their foot off the gas about 10 years ago and they've never really come back to doing it. But they've got so much in their back catalogue, I think that's what they're sitting back on, really.
Yeah.
And with the way that the world is at the moment and being a little bit, you know, down, shall we say, I think they've probably got a good little back catalogue to sit on and to push out still, and that's what they've just been doing. They've obviously been working with a lot of other companies, like we said before, Hobby 2000. So a lot of Reebok Sins of Hasegawa kits in that.
They did with Edward as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
Was another one that did a lot of work with in the past, and Revell. Did a lot with Revell originally, didn't they? I think it was Revell first, weren't it? Then Edward, and now Hobby 2000. So,
and they're a bit like Tamiya though, that do a lot of other stuff other than kits for their home market.
Yeah. I think that's the same with pretty much all the Japanese companies. You know, for some reason, you don't ever see a Japanese company who's pushing other genres. It's all home market stuff. Because if you look at Bandai, it's all home market. You know, Tamiya, as we know, is all home market. Hasegawa do it as well. Fujimi, you know, and all these sort of, you know, the more mainstay model making companies in Japan, it's like home market, everything else is a bonus, you know?
Yeah. Definitely. Beep, beep.
Beep, beep, beep.
I wonder if that's DPD.
Yeah, have a look.
No, I don't think it's coming today.
No, after all of that, because I did think they were very quick at getting it out.
Yeah, normally though we do, don't we? Normally get the thing, it's been dispatched and we get it the day after, but I bet it'll turn up, but we've not been notified.
Again, the thing is, like you're saying about Hasegawa, it's annoying when they charge high prices with old toolkits with raised panel lines, but some of them are still quite good. That's the thing. Yes, you could just look at it from that one base who's got raised panel lines. It's a little bit of a down point on the kit, but they still do some really nice stuff, even though it's raised panel lines. That's the thing, and it's the only thing of it as well. The pricing, again, if you go back 5 years now, they were horrendous. They were really expensive for considering you were just getting new decals. But of late, or over the last few years until recently, we were managing to get them in at some really good prices. Do you remember those F4s we brought in, Matt?
Oh, we've had them recently. We've had the F86, the F104s, again the Phantom. That was this year, beginning of this year. We've had loads,
and they were really cheap. They were cheap kits to do, and it was great because they were like half the price of what they've been in the past. So from that point of view, it was nice to get those classic kits back in and going with them again. I built the Phantom as part of, was it last year's Turkey Shoot? I built that one. And again, beautiful kit. And it was like 27 quid. It was bargain, absolute bargain kit. So
yeah, it is.
Very, very nice.
She is. What's up? What's the matter, dog?
Oh, getting near that time.
No, she only gets fed in the morning on an evening.
Oh, is that it now? She's down 2 meals a day. You starving her now,
2 meals, aren't you? Jumley.
Bet that came as a shock. He's like, what? Hey? I'm dying here.
We get bored when she's ready for her food. She just
yes.
comes in.
Yeah, well, that's Lola. Like we used to do live at 5. Lola would rack up.
Yeah.
You're working. You can't work. I get fed at 5.
Hey, that was live at 4 though. And live
at 4. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, with Lola, it's live every hour. I'll just come in. Yeah, she's used to that, Nige. I talk to her a lot, so yeah. She's used to dyslexia. She can't work out what I'm typing either. Cool, very good. Right, shall we have a quick run round whilst we're here? If I can find anything. Where are we? Okay, so first of all, just to say, don't forget, if you want to come over to the Flooring Model site, what you see on YouTube, if you're a YouTuber, is just a tiny, tiny part of what we do here. And every now and again, I do throw out a bone with some free stuff and various bits and pieces. So if you do want to see what we do in a sort of way, don't forget, pop over to our tutorials area. I've got videos on here, start to finish, about modelling that cover pretty much everyone's questions. Loads of high-res photos, so you can cut in here and have a look at all the photos of everything that's going on. And then I've got various shorter videos on building. All the different techniques that you need for actually doing all your building and weathering, rescribing, clear parts, you name it. It's all down in there as well. So you can come in. These are all free to watch. I've got things on airbrushing. So come into airbrushing, we've got the real basics, which obviously setting up your airbrush. We talk about the equipment you need, mask and filters, booths, tanks, airbrushes themselves. Obviously troubleshooting, some of the most common faults we get asked all the time about what's wrong with my airbrush. They're all covered down in there. Then obviously about the basics, mixing your paint, And then obviously we're talking about air pressure and distance. We're talking about priming your model. We're talking about airbrushing single colors, camo work, textures, and then obviously priming and things like that down in there as well. So we've got all your videos down in that one. And then we've got a bit of a masterclass that I did a couple of years ago now, but it still stands up today, where we take the standard, this is just the Revell 30-second Spitfire, and we completely go to town on this one, from basically weathering it, painting, weathering it. It's done in the building section as well, from building it right the way through to the weathering, all the way through. So we take the model from literally this, and then obviously we work all the way through to that. All right, so you end up right the way through, and it's a step-by-step guide all the way through on this one. So if you want to see all about that one, you can do. Plus the fact as well, we've got a lot of Q&A typey things down in here as well, quick tutorials and things. This is all free to watch. You can go off and see those ones. We've got the review section, so there's hundreds of reviews in here now. So you can pop through and see all the reviews. Just literally come along, click in, and then obviously there's high-res images down in here as well of the entire, with all the instructions right the way through, and then obviously the actual parts as well in there, and the clear parts and everything else. So if you want to see any of the reviews as well, all free to watch. You can come in here, see these areas. If you do want to join up and join the old Motley crew and all the rest of it, it's £5 a month. All right, and then you can just pop in here. This will give you access to around about 135 full video builds, about 1 billion hours of videos and everything else that doesn't make it out onto YouTube. Plus the fact you can talk to around about 2,500 or 3,000, whatever it is these days, of other people from around the world in a nice little chat area as well. And we have our private chat, which looks like this. There you go, they're all in there. You can see all of those down in there as well, so you can catch up with everything that's going down in there. All right, and then obviously right the way through. Full details, just click on membership, you'll see all about it down in there. Also, we've got the free video builds, so full video builds down in here. It's a little bit because it's just the videos on here as well, some of the classic stuff that we've done over the last 25 years. So you can see all of these builds down in here, including some true howlers like this particular one, which, yeah, was a nightmare. There you go, that's the Dragon Mustang as well. So we've got all of those ones down in there. And then don't forget, if you're not a member but you want to see some of the builds we've been up to, like we've just finished off the Apache, for instance, you can see we've got the actual, all the details of it. You do have to be a member to watch it, but also we've got the full photos as well, exactly the same right the way through, which are obviously highlighting some of the areas to this one as well. So you can just click on these at any point and go right the way through to see the high-res images as you make your way through. So you can see all the various stuff going on with this one all the way through until the final reveal photos at the end. All right, so we've got all of these ones down in here. To say full details about all of this, just literally simply pop along, click on membership, and then obviously there's details about it. If you're in the EU, you're going to have to use Patreon because obviously they need to sort out the VAT for us. Rest of the world, US and all the rest of it, you can come down in here and do this one. Shoot me an email. It's a manual system, so I'll let you in and get you going and up to speed as soon as possible. Don't forget, we've got the store. So as I said, various things have come back in over the last couple of weeks. So again, we've got the trays we spoke about before. They're back in stock now as well. These are the metal trays. And also we've got the nippers down in here. And again, if you want to get a very limited edition mug, this is the European mug that we started beginning of the year with the lovely Kareen on, then obviously you can get that one as well. It's only 25 left, and when it's gone, that is it. There is no more of those. It will go out of stock and all the rest of it. And you can see all of those down in there like that. All right, so you can see all of those ones. Also, you can get a lot of this stuff, obviously, if you're in the, scroll to the top, you know, faster scroll. Just click down in here. If you're in Europe, you can pop over to Breveco. Obviously, lovely Kareen who's in chat at the moment, and you get all the stuff in there. You can go in the Flooring Model store in the Netherlands, and they will ship it directly from them. So you don't have to worry about import duties and taxes and handling fees and everything else like that. So if you're in Europe, buy from here. All right, and you can get all these bits just like this. All right, and they've got everything that we've got as well. So you can get all of those stuff just down in there as well. And obviously, if you do want your display and your tools and all your other bits as well, you can just pop over to Breveco's main site, which is just here, and you get all of those bits just down in there. Over on the PM store, so if you pop over to pmmodelsuk.com, obviously loads of stuff going down in here. We've got the special offers area, which we spoke about earlier. This is our discount section and our clearance lines, which are going on at the moment. So you can grab those as well. We've got those, and we've got our specials area, which I'm sure will get added to, and various things are going on as well as we get closer to our move in a couple of weeks' time. So we've got all of that Hobby Boss stuff we were just talking about, which is mainly Hasegawa and Revell. You can see those ones down in there. Some very nice stuff as well. Plus the fact we have got all your normal stuff as well. So we've got all your normal, the new real color paints, all your tools, all your books, all your glues and fillers and your kits as well. So we've got all of that on top, just down in there. All right. Just be aware that we are running down stocks at the moment, because we said before at the beginning of the show, PM Models is moving to a new place. So again, we're coming out of the giant warehouse, moving to somewhere a little bit more comfy as well. So we're running down stock. So if we haven't got anything, shoot a message. We can probably get it for you and we'll go. But we will be closed from, what date is it?
Friday coming, we're going to shut.
Friday coming, we're going to be shutting for the week.
Whatever date is that, because last post is 2 o'clock will be last post on the Friday, and then after that we will probably be open until probably a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, because we're away down with you and whatever else. So probably be a week and a half, and then hopefully.
So it's going to be closed down from the 26th until at least the 30th. At least the what will that be? 26th. Then you're down as well, aren't you? And all the rest of it to around about the Oh no, that's July. Hold on, am I in the right month? Yeah, so it'll be closing on the 26th, reopening on the roundabout the 30th. Yeah.
30th?
No, 5th or 6th of...
5th or 6th of August.
6th
yes,
of August.
okay. All right, so we'll be closing it down. Yeah, that's right, yeah. Sorry, I've got it because it's half a map each way, half a calendar each way. So yes, closing down on the 26th, reopening on technically the 6th.
Yeah.
So, yes. Cool job. Very good. Very, very nice. Right. Okay then, guys. Thank you very much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much to John joining me down today, and obviously with Matt as well, and obviously the lovely Luna, which people probably want to see more than us. So that's good. I'll have a review up for you on Monday. So obviously we've got this particular kit. We've got the Hobby Boss Devastator. I'll be doing the review of that. So that'll be up with you on Monday. Then we'll be back with you for till Tuesday. Members, I'll be with you for the vlog on Wednesday. And then obviously Thursday, we've got the show, which will be me and Matt on for that particular one. And then Friday for the catch up with probably the next that will be the finalish part of the actual, for the moment, of the Halifax. Or if not, it'll be the first part of the course sale will be up for you as well. So still lots and lots to come. Good job. Right, we all good? Don't forget, like and subscribe, ring the bell, do all your bits and pieces, and we will see you all again very, very soon. Say goodbye, chaps. We're out of here.
Bye-bye.